everyone, welcome to your own YouTube channel where we talk all about the GATE exam. We are studying the CPU scheduling algorithm in the operating system. So this is the video where we are going to understand and discuss the priority based CPU scheduling, where each process will be assigned a particular priority number. That compared to if you have 10 processes in job and you have different priority, you realize that this one is on high priority and this one is on lower priority, and the CPU scheduler or the short-term scheduler actually picks a process from the ready queue based upon the priority assigned to that particular process. If at all you remember from the process control block where we maintain the information about each process, then we have one more term, that is priority. So we insert the value of priority in the PCB. So each process, whatever is going to be its priority, is going to be available in the PCB, where the CPU scheduler or the short-term scheduler will look at the value of it and accordingly will select its process to run next on the CPU. Right? So here the criteria is nothing but then the priority, which is going to be a number. Right? It will be assigned to each process based on its criticality. There are always some processes which have high criticality, which have some importance to get finished at earliest time. So they generally get the higher priority. And there are already also some processes which are like backup process or the background process, which really don't have much higher priority because they might be running at a slower pace also. That's absolutely fine. They can be assigned a lower priority. So likewise, this number is going to be given to each process and it's going to be in the PCB of each process. So that becomes the criteria for a short-term scheduler to pick a process. Now, the mode of execution, actually it can be in both mode, non-preemptive and preemptive. In this video, we are discussing the non-preemptive priority based scheduling algorithm, and the next one we are going to discuss the preemptive mode. So for that matter, I have taken one question where we have the process from 1 to 6, respective arrival time, burst time, and we also have their priorities, because this is the criteria which is we are going to use for scheduling them. So here we have the priority given to each process, and the lowest number is showing the lowest priority, and the highest number, higher the number, is showing the highest priority. Alright, and because I am saying it is on the non-preemptive mode, so once if you have scheduled a process, that process will finish completely and then only we will select the next process. So let's see the Gantt chart on the CPU at the time 0. So guys, here because we are going to have one extra number, one extra value, so you always have to be careful that you don't mix this priority with any of these numbers. It usually happens, right? So at the time 0, we just have one process, that is P1, which we can schedule directly because no other process is available. They all are coming after time 1. So we just have one process, no matter whatever is its priority, it is the only holds for person. So P1 gets scheduled, and because it is non-preemptive, one schedule will run for the full length. So it needs burst time 4, so 0 to 4. Now you see this gets finished. Now by the time 4, we have all these processes. We have all these processes in the system, P2, P3, P4 and P5. Now by this, so we have so many processes, so we just come here and look at the priority. So from 5 to 2, what number is the highest number? 10 is the highest number, so that is the highest priority. So you will select P4 next. So we select P4 next, which runs for 3 bursts, 4 plus 3, 7, and this gets finished. So you just strike off, as I have always said, so that you don't forget that this process is done. Correct? Now, by the time 7, we have these two processes also in the system. This process also in the system, P6. So now you look at all the remaining priority numbers. So 5, 8, 2 and 12. Which is the higher? 12 is the highest number. So let's select that process. So that is P6, who needs 1 burst. 7 plus 1, 8. Usually it is seen that the high priority process have the lower burst time also. Usually, it's not very standard thing, but usually, right? So this is done, this is done. Now we have all the process available, whatever are the remaining process, every process is in the system. Don't do anything but just look at the priority number, whatever number is the next priority. So 8 is the next highest, so let's schedule that. So that is P3, scheduled for 6, so 8 plus 6, 14. Finished. Next number is 5 and then is 2. So take process number 2 with priority 5, who needs 5 bursts, 14 plus 5, 19. That is also finished. And the last to get scheduled is P5 with the lowest priority, and that needs 8 bursts. So 19 plus 8 is 27. This is how we do with the help of non-preemptive priority scheduling. Okay, so this becomes your Gantt chart. So now after we have got the Gantt chart, we have scheduled all the process, we are in a position to find out the completion time and the turnaround time. So let's do that. The completion time for process 1 is 4. For process 2 it is 19. For process 3, 14. Process 4, 7. Process 5, 27. Process 6, 8. Okay, now based upon completion minus arrival, let's get the turnaround. So 4 minus 0, 4. 19 minus 1, 18. 14 minus 2, 12. 7 minus 3, 4. 27 minus 4, 23. And 8 minus 5, 3. So this becomes the respective turnaround time, and accordingly you can find out the waiting time also, right? So yeah, this is what the priority based CPU scheduling algorithm. We did the non-preemptive mode, and it's quite easy. And I have observed that in the previous year GATE questions, after SRTF and round robin, priority based scheduling algorithm is one thing which is asked the most number of times. So yes, it's quite expected that this algorithm is asked in the exams. And somebody might think, again, the priority is fixed, so that makes an algorithm sort of static. Whoever has got the higher priority will always be given the higher chance, and whoever has the lower priority will always get star-weighted, because it's not that always we have just 5 processes. The process will keep on adding, and if at all a new process which is adding into your system has higher priority than the one who is already in the ready queue, then that already in the ready queue will get preempted. So that's one of the drawback of priority based scheduling algorithm. If at all we just make use of static priority. The other way to overcome this is dynamic priority. So there we decide the priority of a process on the runtime. So that is something which you will see in the future with the help of aging algorithms. Alright, so let's quickly do one more question so that you have more practice over it and you have more data to discuss. So here we have the again process 1 to 6 with their respective priority, and I have marked that the higher number is the highest priority. So we have at the time 0, and here is your CPU. So let's have the Gantt chart. Now you see at the arrival time says that there is no 0 time, so none of the processes available at the time 0. The earliest time process available is 2 and 2. So from 0 to 2 we actually have nothing to run, so this is nothing but then the idle time. Correct? Correct. Now at the time 2 we have 2 processes. Now you look at here, the 2 processes are available, and what is their respective priority. So from 6 and 8 is a higher number, so this one will get the priority, the higher chance. So P3, let's schedule P3. Now again you can mark them so that you don't get confused, because so many numbers are there, at least one of them should be free of ambiguity. So P3 is scheduled, and because it is non-preemptive, it needs a 4 burst, so 2 plus 4 is 6. Now by the time 6, what other processes are available? So I guess we have all available, right? Now the 3, 4, 5 and 6, all the remaining processes are right there. Now it becomes very easy. You simply have to pick the process with the highest priority. So the next with the highest priority, let me just cut this off so that we don't get confused. The next highest is P2. So let's schedule P2. Quite simple, and it needs 5 bursts, so 6 plus 5, 11. Done. What is the next higher number? The next higher number is 10. So let's take that. P4. What is its requirement? 8. So 11 plus 8 becomes it 19. What is the next higher number? So we have 12 done, 10 done, 8 done. Next higher number is 9. So let's take P1. Done. With the 2 burst time, so 19 plus 2 is 21, right? So P1 is also done. Now the next priority number is 6 and 6. They both have the same priority. So that's a tie. How do you break it? You simply break it by the arrival time. If the arrival time would also have been the same, we would have broken it with a lower process ID. So here the arrival time says P5 came first. So let's schedule the P5 first. P5 first, and P5 needs how much? 6 burst. So 21 plus 6 is nothing but then 27. Somebody might think, why are we not looking at the burst time? Because burst time is not the criteria at all. The criteria is this, and if there is a tie here, you come back to the arrival time, whoever is coming first. The last process to be scheduled is P6, and that needs 3, so 27 plus 3 is a 30. So this is how these processes are going to get scheduled, and you get your Gantt chart. Correct? Correct. Now quickly, because we have done the scheduling, so we quickly find out the completion and the turnaround time for each process. So P1 finish 21, P2 11, P3 6, P4 19, P5 27, and P6 at 30. Now here with the completion minus arrival, so 21 minus 4 makes it 17, 11 minus 6 makes it 5, 6 minus 2 4, 19 minus 5 14, 27 minus 2 25, and 30 minus 3 27. That's how we get the respective turnaround time and the completion time. We can find out the wait time also. So non-preemptive priority based scheduling algorithm is quite easy to implement. Just look at the priority number. It's important in these algorithms is to focus at which number you are looking at. You are not misleading with burst time to arrival and arrival to the priority. That's all it's important is. Well then, in the next video we are going to see the preemptive priority based scheduling algorithm, and we'll solve some of the gate questions. Bye bye.